Today I'm making pita bread two ways, in the oven and on the stovetop. The recipe is the same, the only difference is how it's baked, oven or stovetop. Afterwards, I'll give you my opinion on both methods so you can decide for yourself which is better. So let's start with the ingredients. This recipe is for a small batch of 4 pitas. If you want to make more, then you can easily double or triple this recipe. In which case, if you opt for the stovetop method, you'll want more than one pan going on the stovetop. So, the ingredients. Let's start with 160 grams of warm water, which is around 2/3 of a cup if you're using cups and spoon measurements. But I highly recommend getting a scale to weigh your ingredients. You can get an accurate one for under $20 on Amazon and it will last you a long time. So why not? Okay, that's 160 grams of warm water. Notice I have to scoop out a couple of teaspoons to hit it on the nose. And next comes the yeast or the sugar, either way. I put the yeast in first this time. Sometimes I put the sugar in first. And that's around 3 grams of yeast or 1 teaspoon and a little bit, maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon more. Next, I added 3 grams of sugar. That's just to keep the yeast happy. And that's 1 teaspoon. And then I stirred everything together and let the yeast and the sugar sit for around 5 minutes just to make sure the yeast was alive and well and doing its thing. Here it is 5 minutes later and the yeast is blooming. So now I'm going to add 250 grams of flour. I'm using bread flour. You can use all-purpose flour too, but today I'm using King Arthur's bread flour. And now the salt. That's 5 grams of salt or a little less than a teaspoon. And finally, the last ingredient, 7 grams of extra virgin olive oil or about 1.5 teaspoons. You can add the oil when you do the wet ingredients, that's the water and the yeast and the sugar. If you want to add the oil then, that's fine too. So now it's time to mix this all up. And to begin, I like using my silicone spatula, since at this point the dough will stick to your fingers. So I use a spatula or even a wooden spoon handle. That works. And then once the dough is mixed a bit, I go in with my hands, or I should say hand, since I like to knead with one hand and hold the bowl with the other. If you find the dough is too dry as you're kneading it, then add a teaspoon of water, a little bit at a time until you feel it's right. If the dough is too wet, then sprinkle in some more flour. You should knead and knead and knead until the dough is smooth and elastic, and that can take 5 to 10 minutes of kneading until the dough feels smooth and less sticky. It will still be a little tacky, but not sticky. You can also do this in an electric mixer if you want to save time and energy. It should take about 5 or 6 minutes in the mixer. And there you have it. Look how nice and smooth and less sticky that is. Now put the dough ball in a bowl that's been coated with oil. And I like to swish the dough ball around the bowl so that it gets covered with the oil as well. And then a little spritz of oil on top. Cover it up. And we're going to let this rest for 1.5 hours. That's 90 minutes until the dough has doubled in size. Here we are 90 minutes later and the dough has risen. And now I'm going around and around, stretching and folding the dough a bit. And it feels really nice and smooth. So once I've done that a couple of times, rotating the bowl each time, I'm going to divide up the dough into 4 equal pieces. And the dough weighs 422 grams. So if I want to split this into 4 equal pieces, that's 105 or 106 grams each, about. So I add and subtract a little dough from each until they're all about equal sized. Or you can just eyeball it and some of your pitas will be a little bigger or smaller, depending on how good you are at eyeballing things. But if you want them more uniform, it's best to weigh them. Now to shape them into balls, fold the dough into the center and then roll it around until you have a nice little ball shape. Do this for all 4 balls and now cover them up so that they don't dry out. You can use plastic wrap or a towel and let them rest for about 20 minutes which will let the dough relax and make it easier to roll out the pitas. And meanwhile, let's set up the baking tray. I'm using an upside down baking tray with parchment paper on top, not much to set up. So 2 of the pitas I'm going to bake in the oven, and 2 I'm going to do on the stovetop. You can preheat your oven now since we want it up to temperature when we pop the pitas in. Now the dough balls have been resting for 20 minutes and it's time to wake them up by rolling them out. First I flatten the balls a bit and then I give them a nice dip in flour to coat the dough and make it easier to roll. Brush off the excess flour and now roll the dough out to about 6 or 7 inches in diameter. That's around 16 to 17 centimeters and about a 1/4 inch thick, or around 0.6 centimeters, if that makes any sense. Try to roll out the dough evenly as best as you can. I'm rolling out 2 for now to go in the oven, and make sure your oven is already up to temperature. Mine goes up to 485 degrees and then it gets stuck there, so that's what I'm baking these at, and in they go. If you have a window and a light in your oven, you can watch them puff up. Sometimes it's very dramatic and sometimes it's a little slower. Don't overbake them. 2 to 3 minutes should be enough depending on how hot your oven is. Once you see some light brown spots on the surface, it's time to take them out and let them rest on a plate covered to keep them moist and soft. Okay, we have 2 more pita dough balls waiting to be rolled out and cooked, and this time on the stovetop. So again, I flatten the balls and coat with flour and then roll them out. Now onto the hot pan they go, and this pan is my favorite for making flatbreads like naan or chapati, and it will work great for pita bread too. Also pancakes if you're in the mood. The downside to doing this on the stovetop is that you can only do one at a time unless you have more than one pan going, which I don't, and you also have to stand over them and watch them instead of just popping them in the oven. But let's see which is the winner once these are done, and while we're waiting for it to puff, let's talk about why it puffs. This is a somewhat sticky dough with around 65% hydration, meaning water to flour ratio. The dough is wet enough to create steam, yet dry enough to roll out into a pita shape. So the steam gets trapped between the layers of dough to form a pocket. Sometimes I'll move the spatula around the steam bubble to gently coax it to move around and force the pocket, but it usually does it on its own. And there you have it. The steam has exploded inside and created a nice pocket. Okay, let's have a look at the 4 pitas I just made. These 2 pitas in the back are from the oven, and these 2 in the front are from the stovetop. Visually, you can see that the 2 from the oven are paler, and the 2 from the stovetop have dark brown spots, especially in the middle where the dough was in contact with the pan as opposed to the edges that puffed up and pulled away from the pan. Now the moment of truth. Do they all have pockets? Because that's what we want. What's a pita without a pocket? So let's slice them open, and yes, they both have beautiful pockets. And when I put my hand inside, the stovetop pitas feel moister. The oven pitas feel ever so slightly drier on the inside. So which is better? Overall, I have 4 nice pitas either way, but for me the winner is the stovetop pitas for texture. They were just a tiny bit softer and moister than the oven pitas in my opinion. But the oven is the winner for convenience. I had to babysit the pitas on the stovetop the whole time, one at a time, since I only had one pan going. In the oven, you can make a large batch and have multiple pitas baking at the same time. So if you're making 1 or 2 pitas and you don't have an oven, then the stovetop will work. But if you're making a large batch and you have an oven that gets nice and hot, especially a pizza oven, then go for the oven. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Thanks for watching and bon appetit!